Dancy remix, page 444.
Welcome back to take 444, another episode of psychedelic goodness for you. We're in the letter E, and I'm starting off with a German band called Eloy, not from psychedelia's golden era. This is from 1977. I think they were formed in the early 70s, 71 or 72. That's the Gatefold, Eloy and Ocean, 1977. This is on Harvest, I think. On the Harvest label. So this is a concept album, as befitting the times. It's about Atlantis. It's very bass and synthesizer heavy. It's a bit too pompous and bombastic for my liking. But it has its touches. It takes a bit from Floyd and stuff, and Yes and people like that. But it's a little bit too up its own for my liking. Interesting piece. It's sung in English. They were a big band in Germany, really well known in the 70s in Germany. Give it a listen. They released a lot of albums, some live albums as well. Apparently they were, I read somewhere they were voted Germany's worst live act for several years running. I can't vouch for that, but it's an acquired taste. If you like sort of concept heavy, bombastic, big productions and stuff, give it a listen. I probably won't buy any more records by Eloy, but I found that one cheap and picked it up, and it just about fits the psychedelic category. Next up is a band that definitely do. This is an English band from London, formed in 1967, Eclection, gatefold cover. This is on Elektra, 1960, when was it? My notes, it says, nope, I haven't got the date of the album released. I think it was probably 1968. They were finished by 69. I think this is their only album. I'm not 100% sure about that. But features female vocalist, and also Trevor Lucas, Australian vocalist, who was Sandy Denny's partner. That's the band there, and the gatefold with the lyrics, and that's the band there at the back. What's it sound like? They're a psych folk band. Very good songwriting, and it's a bit of a lost classic, really. I think doesn't get talked about a lot or shown a lot, but it has some great touches, and I absolutely recommend it if you can find it cheap. It used to be in the UK. You used to find it a lot for not very much in the 80s. I think it's probably shot up in value recently, but So that's Eclection. Next up is the Electric Flag. I only have 2 albums by the Electric Flag. They released a whole slew of albums, which I don't have. This is their first one. It was the first one that had their name on it. It's not really regarded as their album. This is a soundtrack to The Trip, obviously. Very famous cover there. Fantastic cover. And that's the soundtrack to the Roger Corman and Jack Nicklaus scripted film, Psychsploitation on Sidewalk. If you haven't seen the film, get round to watching it sometime, because it's a classic of the time. This was their first album, and then they released another, and the the next album they released was supposed to be their first album, so this is classed as their second album, Electric Flag. By this time, Mike Bloomfield had left, the guitar player, and so this is called an American music band. It's known as that. Quite why it is because if you look at the credits in here, it says music by the Electric Flag and American Music Band on the back too. So quite why it's called that. It says that on the back cover, but it's really just self-titled. I think it should be. So this is a kind of soulful. There's touches of psych in it, blues, jazz. They're very, very good musicians. So it sounds great. There's lots of horns and stuff on it, but it's not really up my street. I actually much prefer this, obviously, because this is a soundtrack. There's lots and lots of. There's 12 tracks on side one and 6 on side two. There's lots of very short tracks. I wish they'd if they'd have produced an album with more of the stuff that was on here, which is much weirder and more psychedelic. I would have really liked it, but and this is definitely the better of the two, in my opinion, even though it's only got what, 3 or 4 long tracks on it. But yeah, the American music band, the Electric Flag. Next up is an English band from Liverpool. Probably don't need too much introduction to most people if you've been buying music in the last 40 years. Echo and the Bunnymen. I only have this of their main albums. I did have one or two of the others at one point, but it's a song Corova from 1980. Their first album of Corova Records, named after the milk bar in Clockwork Orange. And this is classic post-punk neo-psych. They were a huge deal at the time, really influential, along with Teardrop Explodes and The Cure and bands like that, with the sound they were producing. They had great colours, fantastic photography on the covers. Yeah, so Ian McCulloch, along with Julian Cope and Robert Smith, were kind of responsible for a lot of the psychedelic bands that came out of the UK later. Just in their interviews and stuff, they started talking about the music of the late 60s, which to that generation was seemed like ancient history, even though it was only 10 years before. But yeah, you know what you get with early Bunnymen. Fantastic songwriting. It has that sound. They also did this is a 12-inch cover of People Are Strange by The Doors. It's also got Paint It Black, Run 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 by The Velvets, and Friction by Television on here. This was from the Lost Boys film. And last but no means least by them is their early greatest hits, Songs to Learn and Sing. If you just want to get one early Bunnymen album, I'd probably recommend this one. This has got all their, I won't say hits because they didn't really have many hits. I suppose they had a few actually. It's got Bring On the Dancing Horses, Killing Moon, The Cutter, and that sort of thing, Back of Love. They were a fantastic band, saw them live a few times around then in the 80s, and they always put on a great show. And Will Sargent, who was the guitarist, and that's him there, he went on to release a couple of really good solo albums, which I shall get around to one day. Next up is, playing in the background, is the first album by the Electric Light Orchestra. Yes, ELO. That is their back cover. Look at that great photograph on the back. So this came out on Harvest, I think. Yeah, EMI Harvest. This is a reissue on the dreaded Fame label. Yes, it's a cheapo Fame label with the covers that you could probably almost roll up. But it's the music that counts, and I've not seen the original of this, but I would pick it up. So this is their first album from 1971. Has both Roy Wood and Jeff Lynne on it. Their only album with the two of them. So it formed from the ashes of the Fantastic Move, Idle Race, that kind of thing. So it's the concept behind the band was for them to take I Am the Walrus as a starting point and move on from there, and they do that. I highly recommend this. It's obviously they've got a huge legacy of pop music after this, some of which I'm quite partial to, the early stuff. But this one is a psych album. Shows all the hallmarks of psychedelia, orchestrated weirdness, as you can hear, and I love it. I really think this is completely overlooked and shouldn't be. ELO Harvest. It was released in '71 in the UK. In America, it was released in 1972. And if you look for it in America, you'll have to look for a different album because it was called No Answer in America. And apparently that was due to a mistake by one of the record executives mishearing an answer phone message about the title of the album. He heard it as No Answer, and that's what it was released under. But in the UK, it's just called the Electric Light Orchestra, and highly recommended. And last up, we have another American band from Chicago, late 80s again. Neo-psych, as they say. It's just a psychedelic record to me. And this is the fantastic 11th Dream Day, a band I regret that I didn't travel to see back in the day. And it's got the fantastic title of Prairie School Freakout. 11th Dream Day from Chicago, 1988, originally on Amoeba in the US, and in Europe it came out on the French New Rose label. So this is like I say, this is fantastic guitar-led psychedelia, and should have been a huge record, I think.
In the snow-covered pure, there fell 2 drops of blood that burned through to the ground and pulled into one. As the planets turn, as the planets turn, as the planets turn, as the planets turn.
There's some fantastic kind of Neil Young guitar workouts, lengthy sort of electric acid jams, and some good songwriting too. And I think it's, like I say, a bit of an overlooked classic in my view. I would highly recommend this. If you find it, pick it up, because you won't be disappointed if you like guitar-led psychedelia that kind of started with Quicksilver and then, like I say, Neil Young's kind of guitar workouts. This is in a similar vein, but with great pop writing as well. 11th Dream Day. A bit of alliteration there. yeah, check this out because it's great. And that's all. I shall get some more out soon. Like and subscribe and leave me a comment, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.